Hi, I'm Cholder Bones, and as part of the Baba Yaga tutorials that I'm shooting at the moment on how to connect to this amazing Russian beautiful goddess, I'm going to just shoot this video today and discuss about how ways we can actually invite Baba into our lives, into our consciousness. And I've been working with this goddess for years, and there's definitely some little tips I'd like to share just in case they're helpful for you about Baba Yaga. And when we invite Baba in from the wild, I always imagine her in the far off recesses where maybe humans have never stepped in the forest, where there's been no inhabitants of humans. It's just completely wild and free. So when we call Baba Yaga, we do it with earnest. We do it with a sense of that Baba may not be used to hearing our calls, that she's not a god that's revered a lot other than shunned in modern day reality as the bad wicked witch in the woods. So I guess with Baba, I can't sing, right, and I'm going to apologise right now because I couldn't hold a note to save anyone's life, let alone my own. But when I call Baba, it's not about the tone. I'm not doing overtone chanting. It's not about the skill of the voice is what I'm trying to say. So it's about the intention really strongly with this God form. It's about singing with earnest her name. And there's nothing complicated about raising Baba's awareness or getting her to hear your call. It's actually, you could just repeat her name, and as long as it's done with absolute earnest, she will hear you. It's so not about the vocal range, okay, which is quite handy because wait till you hear me sing it. The other thing is Baba is one God form that I work with that I can absolutely hand on heart say this God responds to feeding. Feeding meaning that if you lay out a small altar space for her, or that you want to work with this God form, you're courting her, if you like, to come into your life. This is what I say is like impressing someone, but also doing it with pure intent. And that's about not being perfect. It's about that. It's like saying that you really want to invite someone super duper cool to dinner at your house or go out for dinner with them. You know, this is about trying to bond with this God form. And so what you can do is you can get a range of foods and things that she would like berries and stuff like that found in the forest, but also stuff that she wouldn't get. So like butter, or lots of hot chilies she loves. She loves tobacco. She really loves tobacco and chili and rum, and she loves chocolate and sweets and marshmallows. She likes all sorts of things, confectionery, that say like someone with a really sweet tooth would like. Honey poured. This isn't about making something beautiful. This isn't like for a very refined, say, maybe some goddess of beauty like in the Roman pantheon. It's not about that, or Greek. This is about a wild, often looking feral God form. And we're not doing refined here. We're doing profound power, profound self-acceptance, love and soul reclamation. But what we're doing with the feeding is like, this is like a banquet in a shark attack. This is, could be as messy as hell, but as long as it attracts Baba, it doesn't matter. Now, so if we think of the feeding, I'd say as a minimum, like you could feed her 3 times when you're trying to court this god to have a relationship with her, especially if you want to ride her tidal waves of magic. I would say over 3 nights, or once a week for 3 weeks. I'd say a minimum of 3. I don't know why I say that. I just think that anything less than that's probably just not enough effort, but I don't think you need to go overboard either. I'm just kind of being general here. So what we do is we create a space and we put this food on. It can be outdoors, could be indoors, whatever, whatever suits you, wherever you live. And I would always, with the Baba, make it big, like kind of, it doesn't have to be that you've spent a lot of money, but just whatever it is, make the plate small and fill it up if you have to. But, go for gold there. And you can make it kind of messy if you want, like make it inviting and yummy. Don't eat off it. This is Baba's feeding, and this is one God you really don't want to get in the way of that's feeding. And so light a tea light candle. I always find this is the best and most effective way, because it puts a time limit on the feed, and then you're not offending the God form if you take it too early. So what I do is I create this little food, and then I put a tea light next to it, and I light the tea light. I call Baba, and I say, you know, this is the meal I've prepared for you. Come eat, come feast. You know, and you know, you can be kind of creative with this. You know, this God isn't necessarily needing a lot of preening and, you know, compliments and that. I mean, she's not here for the self-esteem trip or to be preened over, but I mean, and also she doesn't necessarily need, you know, a discourse in your whole life. But what you can do is you can be relaxed and have a little giggle with her and say, hey, look, I made all this, Baba. Look, Baba. You know, I mean, this is how I speak to this God form. She responds beautifully to this. You know, it's about being relaxed in yourself and kind of joyous. This is actually a deep primal sexual energy, but there's joy here. Okay, there's joy. It's not so formal, it's not rigid. This is a joyous energy to work with, as well as power. So yeah, powerful joy, I guess. So we have this meal, we light the candle, and what I say is, when the candle burns down, Baba, the feeding is ended. So you're giving her, you're not giving her rules, because I mean, that's not cool for the likes of Baba especially, but I mean, it's just so that, you know, she knows that you're clocking out at that time, because, you know, I just think it for me, the candle is about me not upsetting Baba by taking the food too early. It's not really about me going, you've only got this long. It's kind of the opposite of that. So then, you know, when the candle's burnt out by itself, the little tea light, it goes for about 2.5 hours, I think those things go for. It's quite a while. Then take the foods and put them, you know, back in the earth or whatever. Some people get funny about it and say that they don't want animals to eat the food of gods. You know, I just say whatever works for you. I mean, I don't mind if the local foxes come and eat it. I just think, well, it's all about recycling. It doesn't bother me. Now, about Baba and feeding, this is what I've noticed over the years. Baba absolutely eats. Does she eat? No, she drinks. Okay. Sometimes with psychic sight, right, I mean, you can see what you've done with the food for Baba, and you can, for me, okay, for me, I only speak for me, I've gone to the altar when the candle's burnt down and removed the food, and it looks like the energy or the vibrancy of the food is gone. It looks like she has taken the food, if you like. It's still there in physical form, but it's like there's something different than other gods with Baba. It looks like she has drained the food, if you like, which is a good sign. The other thing, which is absolutely, I think, more evident, is Baba particularly likes rum. She likes whiskey and she likes chilies hot. If you want to put them in the rum, go for it, or chop them up in the cup or the glass that you're pouring straight spirit to her for. Whiskey or rum's fine. Often I feed her rum. I don't know why, but I don't know. It hasn't happened to me with other god forms. Baba drinks the rum. And to the point, I rang my dad once and I said, Dad, you know, I was feeding this god and she drank the rum. And he's like, kid, it was evaporated or something. I was like, well, I think that, but like, why haven't the other gods evaporated the rum? Anyway, Baba drinks and she drinks deep. And it's such a nice feeling because you really feel like you've had a guest to dinner. Seriously, I mean, watch it. Send me a message if you find the same thing. I don't know. I don't know anyone that really works with Baba Yaga. So I can't chew the fat with anyone else and say, do you love how Baba actually drinks deeply of the rum that you give her? So, you know, let me know what your thoughts are about that, or your experiences probably is a better way of saying that. So when we feed the gods, so we're inviting her to dinner, basically you're inviting her into your consciousness. This is what you're doing by doing this. You're doing something in 3D reality, something in the physical world. And you're, in a way, anchoring her into your consciousness. That is what you're doing by a ritual feeding. You're celebrating the god, yes. You're inviting her on a very deep level, yes. Anchoring her into 3D, absolutely. Inviting her into your consciousness. Now, one thing you can do as well, which isn't so, you know, trippy like the feeding, is flowers. And the colour of Baba, to me, is a very deep tangerine. Now, tangerine is, to me, like orange, but it's burnt and it's got kind of a bit of red through it. So it's, yeah, I mean, just like the tangerine peel, I guess. I don't know. I don't have a colour particularly, but I did get some flowers which are kind of similar to Baba if you mix them all together. And it's not, with Baba for me, it's not about the plant spirits that you're working with. It's not about like the plant spirit of fuchsia, the scent, the rose. To me, it's not that with her. It's the kind of the colour and the form and the offering. It's the intention. Now, some gods, absolutely, with some plant spirits, you can ride that wave and you can get a hit in a different way. It's almost like going through a different gateway or portal to that god, if the plant spirit is willing and the god's willing. With Baba, for me, it's about the energy, colour, that you're just honouring her. You know, she's so readily available once she turns up that, I mean, it's just about, you know, a gift, really. Now, I've got all sorts of flowers here. As you can tell, I'm not a florist. I mean, check this out. Like, what is going on with this gap here? Who knows? But anyway, thank God Baba isn't a god that minds about how messy anything looks. It's the intention. Thank goodness. God, where would I be? Okay, so like that little floral arrangement, like if you just want to just go a bit how it doesn't have to be ordered in any way with this beautiful goddess, is you could thread, you could be a bit nuts about it and thread popcorn, or you could thread, you know, marshmallows or on sticks and put it in the vase and give that to her. I mean, she'd love it. She'd love the wrappings on the chocolate. She loves that kind of stuff. I mean, it doesn't have to be, it's just, you know, it's about the joy, it's about the offering. It doesn't have to look great, it doesn't have to look perfect. It just has to be inviting for her. You know, and then of course the irony is she's so wild, she's so free, she comes to your roller, she drinks your rum, which makes no sense in 3D, other than that's great, she obviously liked that brand, I must remember that. And then the irony is you're inviting her to dinner, but then of course then she tells you after years of working with her that she was visiting you in prison, the prison of your own mind, because you weren't free or your power wasn't restored, and she was coming to help you. So she was doing like day visits to you while you were locked in your human consciousness. So so that's about feeding Baba. So I'm going to leave it there and I'm going to shoot another tutorial.